So this video is focused at those that feel depressed about the nature of our situation, about our world's situation, about feeling like you're powerless over it, like you don't have any choice in the matter of where things are going. I'm going to try to suggest to you it's exactly the opposite, that you have radical power and radical freedom and radical choice, so much so that you can almost direct, the nature of things if you tap into this deep enough. Um, and that's weird. I admit, being philosophically trained, it's a very awkward thing to say, and I'm going to have to try to make a strong argument for it. So that's what the intention behind this video is. And it reflects to a degree uh, a notion that came out of the 1960s that, people have poked holes in, I think rightfully so. But I think that there's some really important aspects of truth in it. There is one premise in the context of this that is hard to argue for, and it's something you'll have to explore in your own right to see if you think it lands well or not. And so that's the conceptual go. I'll give you the argument and then I'll come back to that. So this is the argument that comes from what might be called postmodernism, and it's like you create your own reality, and usually that's a narcissistic thing. What comes to it, like people that have argued against it say that's narcissistic, because if you create your own reality, then what's your neighbor doing? Are they creating their own reality? If they're not creating their own reality, then you're creating it for them, and so you're in some sort of solipsistic bubble. That means to say that, you are the god and everybody else is servants or something like that. So it breaks down. The way to hold this that seems very rational to me, and it might not be exactly right, is that we're traveling through many paths of possibilities, billions, trillions of them every second, and you are choosing a particular path by your thoughts, intentions, focus, and these sorts of things. Everybody else is doing the same, and they either align or don't align depending on the context of these sorts of things. So what that does is it gets you around the narcissism of the previous way of thinking, and it actually creates a situation where there's a lot of goodness associated with carving a bright path. In that sense, there's all this darkness, but you can actually carve a bright path by building your script. And what I mean by that is to say that you are scripting your future moment to moment. So by building a healthy script, you're carving the path through that script to a place of beauty, goodness, and truth if you do it well. And that's a powerful notion. It's a notion that drops the narcissism, which is important, which has a big problem with that, and it gives you a great deal of empowerment. See, by doing this, you can actually do profound things in a way that you never thought possible, potentially. Now, some rules can be broken, some can be bent. I think some just can't be broken at all. So even with that concept, I think there's still, potentially a higher being like God or something that still has a great, when I say that, you can look at it any way that you want, but there's particular ways that I look at it that might be different from you, but beings of greater power and control than you are, potentially, that set certain kind of boundary limits that make you able to do certain things and not other things. But anyways, that's just to say it's an interesting concept. Explore it if you'd like. I think it's very empowering, very powerful in your change capacity. By building your script, you at least set the potentiation strongly of the kind of life that you want to build. And with this framework, it strengthens it, I think, because it gives you the notion that this is real, or potentially very real, and that it can be walked if you walk it with integrity and stuff.